Her hands shook as she clutched her chest. Tears streamed down her face, but it wasn't just sorrow, it was fear. Fear that had haunted her since birth, fear that today might finally come true. She looked into his eyes, the man she loved more than life itself, and whispered, barely audible, "I'm scared. I don't know if I can do this." He held her close, his face gentle, full of love. "You can," he said softly. "I'll be with you. Always. Nothing will happen." But deep down, she couldn't shake the thought that had shadowed her entire life, the same fate that had taken her mother. And now, standing at the edge of this life-changing decision, she felt the weight of every heartbeat, every second, every tear that had ever fallen. She had married a peaceful, loving man out of pure love. For 5 years, their marriage was filled with joy, laughter, and moments of warmth that only true love could create. He adored her in ways that words could never capture, but there was one thing he longed for that she feared: a child. Her mother had died giving birth to her, and she carried that fear like a shadow over her life. She worried constantly that the same fate awaited her. Her husband understood. He never pressured her, always assuring her that they would wait until she was ready. Those 5 years were their paradise, but the storm was coming. Everything began to crumble when his mother started watching her every move, judging her, belittling her, calling her cruel names. "A man," she would scream, threatening to bring another woman into the house who could give her son what she couldn't. She cried herself to sickness, every day feeling the weight of humiliation and fear. She feared losing the love of her life. He came home one evening to find her caught up in tears, trembling from the strain. He held her, whispered words of comfort, confronted his mother again and again, demanding she stay away. Deep inside, he longed for children, and she knew it. Yet, she could feel his love surrounding her, protecting her, holding her safe. The conflict between fear and love was tearing her apart. The emotional pressure became unbearable. Every day, she trembled at the thought of the future. She loved him so much, and he loved her. He would stroke her hair and whisper, "We'll be okay. I will never let anything happen to you." She wanted to believe him, but the shadow of her mother's death haunted her relentlessly. Then, one day, she made a decision. She would try for a child. She stopped taking the pills that had kept her safe from pregnancy, even though every cell in her body screamed in terror. Weeks later, she discovered she was pregnant. Joy and fear collided inside her. She was ecstatic to give him a child, but the shadow of her mother's death loomed large. Every flutter, every twinge, every ache sent her spiraling into panic. She couldn't relax, couldn't sleep. Her husband reassured her daily, "Nothing will happen. I'm here. I love you." Yet, as the pregnancy grew, so did her fear. The love of her life held her hand every night, whispered promises, but her mind was a storm of dread. She felt trapped between hope and terror. She spoke to him softly one evening, "I can't stop thinking, what if I don't make it?" He cupped her face and looked into her eyes. "Look at me. You are strong. I love you. We will see this through together. I will never leave you." The days crawled by slowly, each one heavier than the last. Her body changed, her fear escalated, and her nights were long with trembling and silent tears. But her resolve never faltered. She would give him a child, even if it meant giving up her life. After 9 months, the day came. Her water broke. The fear in her eyes was unmistakable. The doctors and nurses could see it immediately, but she had made up her mind. She would face this, and she would survive, or she would give life even if she could not live to see it. The labor was excruciating. Pain tore through her in waves, but she gritted her teeth and pushed with every ounce of strength she had. Every scream, every tear, every tremble showed her determination. The room was filled with tension and urgency as the medical staff walked around her. Her husband never left her side. He held her hand so tightly it turned white, whispered her name, reminded her of their love. "You can do this. You are amazing. I am here. We will get through this together." She squeezed his hand and nodded, even as fear gripped her heart like a vice. And then, after hours that felt like days, the baby was born. A beautiful girl with eyes like shining stars, crying her first cries into the world. But when the doctors tried to get the mother's attention, it was already too late. She had died giving life. Her husband's cries echoed through the hospital room. He fell to his knees beside her, holding her in disbelief, screaming her name, tears streaming down his face uncontrollably. Grief consumed him in ways words cannot describe. Yet, in the midst of his heartbreak, he saw their daughter. A tiny miracle, fragile but alive. He picked her up gently, kissed her forehead, and whispered her mother's name. She would carry her mother's legacy, a piece of her forever. This story teaches us that sometimes the things we fear most in life come to us. Fear can feel insurmountable, but when acknowledged and faced with courage and love, it loses its power. She confronted the deepest fear of her life and gave life to another, even in the shadow of death. Her daughter would grow up knowing the strength and love of her mother. And her husband, broken but alive, would carry both their legacies, the love that endured and the sacrifice that changed everything. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to Afro Tales by Gift, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Your support helps more African stories reach hearts all over the world.